and I'm running to push climate action and social justice up the political agenda. If elected, I'll be an energetic, independent voice for a healthy environment, a stronger democracy and a more equal society. On a healthy environment, climate change is the greatest challenge humanity has ever faced, and our political leaders are continually failing to understand the level of risk and the level of action required, and they're downplaying that risk even as we face real threats, particularly in Ireland. They're also failing to grasp the real opportunities for Ireland in the transition to a zero-carbon society, in everything from the investment in warmer homes to encouraging and promoting communities to own their own renewable generation and renewable energy efficiency projects. If I'm running to give Trinity voters the chance to elect someone who will put climate action at the top of their agenda. And I want Trinity to lead the way. Trinity must divest its €6 million holdings in fossil fuel companies. It must divest. It's the trend around the world among campuses. Trinity regards itself as a progressive institution, and it's one of the first steps it must take on the road to climate action. On the issue of stronger democracy, governments, when they're settled in office, never want radical political reform. So we have a real opportunity now, as we're seeing in Dáil reform, to actually force change. And we must start with the Seanad itself. I'm in favour of one person, one vote in Seanad elections, with every citizen, every Irish citizen, being given the choice of which constituency they want to vote in, and reforming the panels to really reflect all strands of Irish civil society. The draft laws are there to do that. It's time we got on and enacted them. It doesn't need constitutional reform. I also think the Seanad, and more broadly, is a place it's high time we gave citizens abroad a vote in Irish elections, and I very much support the proposals of the Immigrant Manifesto. On a more equal society, it's clear that housing and homelessness must be the first urgent priority of the incoming government. It's a crisis that we have to address and that we've failed to address. In times when Ireland was a much poorer country, we built communities like Cabra and Crumlin to give people decent housing. There's nothing to stop us doing that again now. And on homelessness, I support the Simon Community's Housing First election pledge. We need to tackle homelessness urgently. I support the repeal of the Eighth Amendment. I'm pro-choice. Ever since I was a student here in Trinity 25 years ago, when Ivana was being sued by Spuck, I've supported pro-choice policies, and it's time that the next Seanad and the next Dáil took responsibility for legislating on abortion. It's not an issue that belongs in our constitution. The Seanad is not supposed to be a creature of political parties. It's supposed to reflect all strands of Irish civil society. I have 20 years' experience in civil society organisations. After I studied politics and sociology here, I worked for 10 years in the overseas aid and global solidarity sector as a community organiser among immigrants in Belize, as a promoter of fair trade certified goods in the International Office of the Fair Trade Movement in Bonn, and as a policy and advocacy officer of Christian Aid, working on the issues of Palestine, of trade justice and of Irish overseas aid. And I've spent the last 10 years as Director of Friends of the Earth, leading the campaign for a climate law that finally was passed with the help of TDs and senators of all parties, and particularly the 3 Trinity senators, that was finally passed in December of last year. I think one of the 60 seats in the Seanad should reflect the proud Irish tradition of global solidarity and the new imperative of climate action. Trinity has a long tradition of electing senators that pioneer progress on areas long neglected by the lower house, by the Dáil. If you vote number 1, Oisin Coghlan, I will continue that tradition for the 21st century. Thank you.